And now I am ready to go inside the bus. So now we've come inside the bus, and when you come to a new area on the bus, always start at the top. So we're going to go all the way to the top, and we're going to do our 5 F's. So the 5 F's are the body fluid kit, and you tell them fully stocked and secure to the bus. Make sure you've checked these ahead of time, because make sure that you are correct in what you're telling him, that you have checked it, that it's fully stocked. First aid kit, fully stocked and secure to the bus as well. Okay, then we have our forms over here. For the forms, you should have an accident card and a yellow card and a green card, okay? One for yourself and one for the other driver, and those are your forms. And that's one of the 3 F's, or I should say one of the 5 F's. And then down below you have your fire extinguisher, fully charged, okay? And secure to the bus with pin in. Make sure you look on the gauge and see that it is fully charged. And then lastly over here we have your reflectors, what used to be called flares, and that's why they are an F designation. So you have your 3 reflectors in the box. Don't forget you have fuses to take along if you go over 50 miles. That's another F. And then lastly, and this is new, make sure for pre-trip that you check and that you have your accident packet. So this is emergency procedures, and it tells you what to do if you get into an accident. So this is a complete packet stapled together. You'll want to look through this and make sure that when you do your pre-trip that this is located on your bus. And that's your accident packet. And that concludes the 5 F's. And next we'll do the 4 S's. So we've finished with our 5 F's. Now we're going to do our 4 S's. The 4 S's are seat. So first thing you want to do is make sure your seat is adjusted properly. Okay. Once your seat's adjusted properly, then you're ready to put on your seat belt. Make sure there's no frays or cuts on your seat belt and that it is secure. You can unlatch it and latch it again, make sure that it is secure. And then your steering should show no more than 10 degrees of play, or 2 inches. So my steering is not too slack, it is not showing more than 2 inches or 10 degrees of play. And the 4th S is for sound. My horn is working properly. So that's the 4 S's. And after the 4 S's I have more acronyms. Love that word, acronyms. The 3 W's. Okay, so we're going to do the 3 W's, including the wipers. So I turn the bus to the on position, and I'm ready to check my wipers. My wipers are working properly, and my washers are working properly. So I need to check both of those. And my windshield shows no leaks, no damage. And the 3rd W would be my driver window, important because of railroad crossing. And my driver window is working properly both ways. Okay. No damage, no cracks. And then I'm ready for my mirrors. So I look out the driver window and I see my side mirror, I can see my rear tire, and I can see 200 feet to the back of the bus. Likewise with my right mirror, and with my crossover mirrors I can see 10 feet to the front of the bus, and I can see to the sides of the bus with my crossover mirrors. And then lastly I have my student mirror. My student mirror, I can see all the way out the back exit, and I can see all of the students with my student mirror. And then after that, the transition you want to make is for your steering gear. So you're going to drop your hand right down from your student mirror, and it falls right on down to your gear shift, and it's time for your safety gear check. For safety gear, what you want to do is make sure your door is closed. So I'm going to close the door to the bus. The door is now closed. And have your foot on the brake, okay? And be looking in your mirrors, because what you're going to do is see if the safety gear works, and you're going to try to start the bus in gear. So We want to make sure that nothing is hung up. We're going to put the bus in gear and we're going to try to start it in gear. I'm looking at my mirrors in case the safety gear does not work. And then I will try to start the bus. So we tried to start the bus. The bus did not start, so the safety gear is working properly. If you don't want to test all the gears, ask the tester or trainer if they want all the gears tested. If they do not, you can put the bus in neutral. And now it's time to do your safe start. So you're ready to start. The bus should be secure, and there should be no wait to start light on, so that the bus is ready to be started. And keep checking your mirrors, keep your foot on the service brake, and go ahead and start your bus. And we're going to go on from here. One thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to shut the bus off so that we do not have audio problems, so you'll be able to hear me. So I'm going to shut the bus off, but normally I would keep the bus running. Okay, so we've done our safety gear test, and that passed. The bus did not start in gear, and normally we would keep the bus running. Today for this presentation, we're going to leave the bus off so that you can hear me better. And we're going to turn the lights on, which is something that you would do anytime you start the bus. You must turn your lights on right away. You must turn them on automatically. So we're going to pretend that the bus is on and my lights are on. And since the bus is running, we're going to check our gauges. So let's take a look here. And we just work left to right like a typewriter. First gauge we see is transmission. Temperature is between 100 and 200 for transmission fluid. For amps, if the bus were running, we would be at 0 or positive. Okay, and then water temperature should be between 140 and 200. And oil pressure should be between 40 and 60 psi. RPMs should be between 5 and 10, and miles per hour would be at 0 because the bus is not moving. And then over on the right side we would have our fuel gauge. We are over 3/4 of a tank, okay, and our voltage is between 12 and 14 volts. And our air pressure on air tank 1 and air tank 2 is between 90 and 120 psi. And so that would conclude our gauge test, and now it is time for our air brake test. Air brake test, I'm going to turn the bus back on so I can run this test. And always the first thing that you do, put your foot on the service brake, check your mirrors, we'll start this bus again. And now I'm going to check my parking brake. So I'm going to check my parking brake first. I'm going to put the bus in gear. I'm going to look at my mirrors. Okay, and I'm going to give it a little gas, a little fuel, and the bus did not move, so my parking brake is secure. Okay, then I'm going to release my parking brake, and then I'm going to release my service brake and see if the bus stops in a straight line. I check my mirrors, and then I go ahead and I move. I stop the bus stopped in a straight line, so my service brake is working properly. And now I'm going to put the bus in neutral. I'm going to turn the bus off, and then I'll put it back in the on position. Okay. Now with the bus in the on position, I can read my gauges and I'll be able to see if I lose 3 psi in 1 minute. Make sure you have a watch and check. We'll pretend that 1 minute has gone by and we did not lose 3 psi. My foot is on the service brake right now, and we're going to pretend that 1 minute has passed. Okay. Okay, and we did not lose 3 psi in 1 minute. Now we're going to pump out our tanks. So remember that right now the bus is not secured. The bus is in neutral, and the parking brake is not engaged, and the ignition is in the on position. And I'm going to pump out my tanks right now. So let's do that. And at 60 psi we should hear a buzzer. And we should see a warning light come on. Okay, so that's a pass. And now we're going to keep pumping to get to 30 psi, and our parking brake should pop out. And I should call it an emergency brake. My emergency brake should pop out. Okay, and that popped out at below 30 psi. So that's a pass so far of the air brake system, but one thing I need to do is start the bus and check my emergency brake to see if it holds. So I'll do that now. Put the bus in gear and see if the emergency brake holds. The bus did not move. I checked my mirrors. My emergency brake did not. My emergency brake did hold, and that is the end of my air brake test. So now I will turn the bus back off so we have some audio. Okay, and then we will continue on with our test of the switches. Our switches are over here on my left, and we test them pretty much like a typewriter. We turn on, for instance, our defroster fans. And when you do your defroster fan test, that's a good time to test your noise kill, because you can see if your noise kill is working properly. And this noise kill is working properly. So on this bus, the noise kill switch is located right here, and the normal operating position for noise kill is in the on position. The only time we turn it off is for pre-trip or for railroad crossing. So we're going to leave it in the on position, and then we're going to test our midship heater. It's low, high, works properly. Stepwell heater, low, high. Driver heater, low, high. And the front power vent, okay. The rear heater, low, high. Defrost fans, low, high. Booster pump, on and off. Heated mirror, on and off. And my strobe light I'll turn on and I'll leave on. My driver dome, my student dome lights I will turn on and leave. Master flasher should be on and leave it on. And then we will activate that master flasher from the steering wheel. So we will press the activation button. And we'll notice that we are they're flashing on our dash, and that we also see our 8-ways alternating amber in the crossover mirrors. So that's real important. And then what we want to do now is set our lights, and then we're going to do our 2 trips back. So to set our lights, what you want to do is you want to have left turn signal on. Okay. And you see it in 3 places. You see it in the dash. You see it in your crossover mirror at the front next to the headlight. You see it in your side mirror on the convex mirror. You can see the marker flashing over here for the left turn signal. So it's important to remember your 4-ways are off right now, and you're testing your left turn signal. 8-ways are alternating amber, and now we're ready to do our 2 trips back.